What's up, everybody? Isaac here with Civil Engineering Academy. Jump on real quick. I'm excited to share another podcast episode with you. I bring on some really awesome guests with civil engineering vibes. We connected over podcasting, but I've got Abdulrahman and Ghanim. They connected at school, and they've wanted to start a podcast, so they did. They called it Civil Engineering Vibes. I connected, reached out to them, and we came up with a really fun podcast episode together. So these guys talk about all kinds of challenges that are going on in civil engineering and what excites them about civil engineering. And so in today's episode, I wanted to highlight some of the mental health challenges that come from being a civil engineer or some of the stress that comes into that. But I also want to highlight why people love this field, what it's like in other countries, how to become a professional engineer in the UAE, what's of value out there as well, and just really kind of get a different flavor of civil engineers in another country. And so all of that is wrapped up into this episode. I really do appreciate my guests for coming on. You should go check out their podcast too, civilengineeringvibes.com, and I think you'll really enjoy that too. So anyway, with that introduction, I think you're going to enjoy this, and it's all coming up right after this. All right. Welcome to the Civil Engineering Academy podcast. I just want to welcome my guests here, Abdulrahman and Ghanim. Thankful for you guys jumping on here with Civil Engineering Vibes. I think you got a fun name for that podcast. So welcome to the show. We connected over podcasting, and I just wanted to ask a lot of questions because I think as fellow civil engineers, it's always fun for our audience. Mainly my audience has been in the United States, but they like to hear what civil engineering is like in other countries. And a lot of people like to work, potentially work in other countries as well. But just kind of hear like your own journey into this world of civil engineering. And then we can dive into some other stuff. So I guess my first question is, why don't you guys tell me a little bit more about yourselves and why you started the Engineering Vibes podcast?
Well, actually, me and Ghanim know each other from university. When I was working bachelor together at American University of Sharjah, we were doing civil engineering together. So after that, we went to different routes, and we come back again. We studied. Then Ghanim went together to get the Ph.D. and then we got the master. But we did the master PhD in the same university, Heriot-Watt. And we keep in touch as friendship together. We keep our close friendship together. So we were having a passion with the podcast, actually, especially in the podcast, so it was a random idea, actually, last year happened, before COVID and everything. I mentioned in the podcast website, how about opening a podcast? We were in coffee shop. We said, why not?
Why not?
And and Ghanim, I was thanking Ghanim because he's the guy who initiated the idea. He said, what about opening a podcast? I said, why not? And, we start figuring things out, and here we are after 1 year.
That's great. Ghanim, is that the story? You understand it? I mean, is that how it went down? Is that how you started this?
Yeah, definitely. I think the main purpose of civil engineering simply just to improve the humanity life. I mean, and this is the true mission of all civil engineers, how to improve people's life. And with just this time and with the new generation, civil engineers, we can impact other people's life not only by doing the infrastructure work, also by doing podcasting. And this is the idea that instead of following the conventional route, we can impact others by giving them the literature about civil engineering, why civil engineering. So we are driven by that purpose and mission as civil engineers.
That's great. So I guess the next question I've had is, you've mentioned this a little bit, but your own journey into civil engineering. Did you guys just always know you wanted to do civil engineering, or was it something you had to learn that's the area you wanted to go? And I know you've gone to some different schools, so maybe give us some high level how you got into civil engineering, where you went to school, and maybe what you do right now. Abdulrahman, you want to go first?
Okay, up to you. So it was different for me. At the beginning, even I when I joined university, my plan was different. I was to be actually in computer engineer, but there was a story happened that time. Then then after that, I want to go to the petroleum to see how the petroleum market go, because because especially in the MENA sector, petroleum is a good market there. It's a huge. So you can take it in two roads, either chemical or civil engineer. I started first chemical engineer, but after I took a couple of courses, I said, nah, I cannot know that. So I shifted to the civil engineer. But when I took civil engineer that time, I took it like, I liked it, especially I like the structure part. I was having really amazing. I love the structure part and the construction and how to do the steel design and concrete design because and use like software like ETAP and SAP and and the management, especially the management when I start working internship, like especially when you talk Primavera and this stuff. So after that, I joined as a civil engineer and here I am after 10 years experience in civil engineer.
So, and right now you're working, are you like a project manager now working in construction? What are we doing?
I'm a civil inspector. Like, if you know, I don't know if you know in the US, like here we have in UAE, we have it called consultant and contractor. Like, it's like the same, like architect and the contractor, but here it's more general for consultant. The consultant is not only the architect and it's even the structure design. So I'm the guy who go to site and check the quality spec for the, whether the contractor doing the work as per quality standard, safety, and the progress management. So I'm the inspector there.
That's good. I think you learn a lot in that position too. That's a good spot.
Yeah.
So that's great. Thank you for sharing that with me. Ghanim, what about you? What made your decision to go into civil engineering? Tell us a little bit about how you, where you went to school and what you're doing now.
So one of my core values in my life is transcendence and impacting other. And in the first year, I did my bachelor in the same university where me and Atif we met in 2005. It is American University of Sharjah. So they give you in the first year engineering, the foundation engineering for all engineers, and they're giving an orientation about different kind of engineering. And I saw that civil engineering is one of the most engineering kind that you can have tangible impact. And I was surprised that civil engineers save more lives than medical doctors by creating the sewage system and the wastewater treatment. So I said, well, it suits me because, serving humanity is one of my core values, as I said. And since then, I just do it all the way to the Ph.D. Then I did my chartered engineer, civil engineering with ICE. And it's become ongoing mission more than a major or a work for me. It is ongoing mission, my specific area is material, construction material, cement-based material, but yet I can enjoy structure, geotechnical, surveying, any kind of civil engineering. It will be like music to my ear.
That's great. And what are you doing right now?
So right now I'm a scientific research with NYU Abu Dhabi branch, New York University. And also I do some NGO, like I'm advisor of Society of Engineers in UAE. I'm the committee member of ICE here in UAE. I'm supervising different master and PhD theses for different universities, Rochester, Heriot-Watt, and I'm just enjoying doing my lab work and my own publication.
That's great. Well, you both sound extremely busy in your careers and what's going on in your world. And I think that's fantastic. So I touched a little bit upon this as we were talking a little bit earlier, but a lot of people like to know what maybe the process is to become a professional engineer. Like what's the best route? And here in the United States, we have to take 2 exams. We have to do the FE, we have to take the PE to get those initials and become a professional engineer. What is it like where you are at UAE? And just maybe dive into that just a little bit for us. And either one of you can answer that one.
So if I may answer this question, since I am the official advisor of Society of Engineers in UAE, so we don't have something called, like the most famous professional engineering certificate in the world, like PE in the North America or PE in Canada. We have chartered engineer in the UK and Australia. But in our area, like in the Gulf area here, we don't have the same concept of professional engineering. However, recently, we have established a new chapter called Professional Engineer, where we recognize the people with professional engineering. Here we have a different route, but soon we will have it. For example, our neighbor in Oman, now they start having their own professional chapter. But yet, for the international company, and especially oil and gas company like Halliburton, Schlumberger, once you have this credential, it is for you the process to get the job. Even the international consultants, Parson, Ecom, that exists here. So having professional engineering license definitely would help you in this region. And now we have many professional bodies, especially in Dubai. And I think having academic certificate, it be not enough for you as a civil engineer. You need to have the vocational certificate, the CPD concept, that continuous improvement. Engineering is not something you get it once. You need to maintain it. I know many engineers that once they go to management role, they lose their engineering skills. And maybe I cannot go parallel with this idea where I believe that you need to practice engineering here and there. And this is why I believe that even for the academic, you need to have this collaboration between industry and academic. You cannot be in your own academic bubble and you keep publishing and you don't practice engineering. The same thing with industry. So we need this healthy ecosystem that where academic, professional certificate are integrated together. And I think this is the true concept of being engineer, in the end of the day.
Perfect. I'm just curious, Abdulrahman, we talked a little bit earlier, but it sounds like you can take the NCEES exams, which is what's in the United States, but you can also get what the UK, that chartered engineer. Which one do you go for if you have these different options? Is there one over the other, or are they the same? How do we do that?
Well, actually, it depends. Actually, up to you. Like, for example, if you go, American companies, some American company accepts the BE. Like, you can do it here, the NCES and FE and BE. And also you can do the chartered civil engineer, which is the British one, which is more common here, especially in the multinational company. However, most people now these days become popular is the PMP, which is the professional project management. Because if you want to go for if you want to grow up to do more management stuff, it's more popular, and people are going for that because it's more common and more popular here in the Middle East, especially if you go into construction, or even if you go to the multinational company, they recognize the PMP very well. Even sometimes they recognize it better than the master. I saw in some company. Yeah, like the PMP is just like so professional and so well known here.
So would it be a good combination to even get both of those? Get a professional engineering license, or a CNG, ENG, and the PMP? In my opinion, this is my personal opinion. I don't know about the other. Like, get like either ICE or BE, because if you equivalent the ICE, like if you get the chartered civil engineer, you can equivalent it to the BE in some state in the US, but you have to check that before you go that. But for the PMP, you have to go separately. You have to go to a separate route. But even so, if you have some CPD, you can convert it. In the PMP, it says you just have to do the test. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. You guys live in a fun area. It sounds like you have options. I mean, here in the United States, it's like there are people that have the PE and they also get the PMP license as well. And that is recognized for more people that go into like project management more and more. I would say over here, it isn't a requirement, but it definitely is getting more recognized, for people to have that. I guess this next question is for someone that may be considering going into this field. What do you guys consider in the civil engineering field? What is fun for you? And what is really difficult for you? What do you see as really challenging? What do you see as really fun? I guess, Ghanim, you want to go first?
Well, my major is construction material. I have been fascinating with material, especially cement-based material. I think the history of civil engineering, if we go back to the history, how the civil engineering have been developed, it was associated with developing with the materials. Like, for example, the first material was stone. Then we went to wood, all the way to the Roman concrete. Then we discovered the hydraulic concrete, the Portland cement. And then now we are talking about carbon fiber, nanotechnology, graphene. So material play a major role in developing the landscape of civil engineering. So once you have the new material, you start having a new design, and this is what we call integrated design, material and design. But definitely, there is other aspect now. It's become really important in civil engineering. We talk about circular economy, the new technology, that digital twin, resilience of the infrastructure. I mean, there is many things that we can see it as a civil engineering. In my opinion, many people, they talk about sustainability. The sustainability development goals, 70% of them is related to civil engineering. And I believe resilience is the new sustainability in civil engineering. I totally believe that resilience of the infrastructure, it will be the big focus now for civil engineering. And I may advise the new engineers who are coming that they start knowing all the new programming. Maybe as civil engineering before, we didn't focus on the new programming, like Python and other stuff. But I think these days we need to know the new technology. Now surveying is highly dependent on the drones. So if you don't have this tech skills, it will be hard. So this is how I do the forecasting for civil engineering.
Okay. So for you, it sounds like what's very fun for you is definitely the materials aspect of civil engineering. And it sounds like the challenge that you see is this resiliency that is coming up, where we need to design stuff to have better resiliency. So that's fascinating. Abdulrahman, what about you? What do you consider fun in this world of civil engineering? What do you consider very difficult in this world? We lost you.
Oh, it's okay. For me, as a civil engineer, I will consider do what you love. Do whatever you love. If you love it, the major, just go for it. That's the reason why I recommend people is to get mentorship before it's going to the major. Because for me, getting to mentorship before major is important to know what about the major, what is the thing, what is the challenge. For me, fun about civil engineering is there is a new stuff now, the new tech, as Ghanim said. And also something other thing, there are some challenging, I like to do it, some challenging and some management, especially the management part. I love it from civil engineering, when you do the management part, when you control things. Challenges, there are challenges, like long and 1 hour, especially in the site you have, it's a hectic schedule, you are under pressure. So it depends, but I recommend people if you wanna do it. If you love it, okay. So it's now in the Middle East, they start opening what called apprentice program now, some university, which is similar like co-op in the States, where you can work and study at the same time. So get your experience, know what's mentor, and see yourself. You love it or no.
Okay, that makes sense. That's great. I was researching a little bit on your website, and one of your podcasts, you mentioned mental health on one of your podcasts, and just some of the challenges that engineers might be facing with mental health. What mental health challenges do you see that are out there, and how can people tackle those challenges? Abdulrahman, you want to tackle that?
It's okay. Because why we love to speak the mental health, because mental health is a big topic and big story. Because to be honest, personally, I suffered from it at the beginning when I started working in construction. When you have long hour, long temperature, and the competitive in the market, and there are some rigidity sometimes in the construction, and no one is talking about that, and no one even informed me. Even personally, for mental health, I went to severe depression sometimes down the life, and part of it's because of the way that we work in the civil engineering, part of it's other personal stuff. But no one was talking about it. I never see anyone talking about mental health in construction. We never see it. Me and Ghanim, we never see it talking in construction. So we said, why we not talk about it? Right. Because to be honest, civil engineering, there are some challenges. We are not telling you that's the best major in the world. There are some challenges. That's okay, you accept it. Because it's not me only who felt that. Sure. We know some of colleague has faced that. I personally speak with some people, and they have the same difficulty and same challenges. They went to depression. Some of them went to collapse, but they don't want to speak about it. So
yeah, so you're working. You had schooling, I believe. You were trying to tackle that, and just the pressure of deadlines kind of just all gets to you, I'm sure. Ghanim, what advice do you do you have for these kind of challenges?
I think first of all, we just need to remove the stigma, about mental health. I don't know why many people they have this stigma. The brain is the most complex organ in your body, and for example, if you have a stomach ache, you will go to the internal medicine with no shame. But if you have a complex thought, you'll have this stigma. So first of all, just remove the stigma about mental health. There is nothing wrong to go to therapist. Second things, as engineer, you need to give yourself the permission to do mistake. As engineer, we are very strict to ourselves. We don't give us the permission to do mistakes. So once we are doing a mistakes, we are getting very harsh on ourselves. And I think this is the catch. That fine, doing mistake or if you are failing, that fine. Failing forward, it's the right approach. You learn, see it as a lesson learned, fail forward, move on. And other people's opinion on the side should not be your fact. Maybe you listen to harsh word from your boss, anything. That's fine. It is not a fact. You just go, you pause, you see what's right. And I think it is in positive psychology, they call it like filtering. You need to filter what is going on in your day. So it's very important to know these techniques. And I think a bit accreditation for engineering, my own advice that they should update the curriculum. We need this major courses like fluid mechanics, mechanics of material, but courses like mental health, entrepreneurship should be embedded these days, especially for Gen Z. The average age for Gen Z to open their own company is 22 or 23. So many people, they don't want to go to 9-to-5 job anymore. And especially as civil engineering, if you see civil engineering entrepreneur these days, they're increasing, and we need to embed these courses so that, again, we go to the idea of the ecosystem. We provide a civil engineer, they are eligible to be fit in any part of the ecosystem.
Oh, that's great advice. Yeah, I really do agree with that. It's kind of why I wanted to start my own thing with Civil Engineering Academy. So, and I really like that you said to fail forward. I think all of us make mistakes, and we can get through those. And when we're failing forward, I think that's great advice. Abdulrahman, anything to add to that?
First of all, I agree with Ghanim said about all of that, because I tell you, because even first of all, it's okay to make mistake, because from personal experience, I'm telling you, I faced these at the beginning of my career, and people, how the market of the construction and deadline, and sometimes I was taking it personally and this stuff. So yeah, I agree with that. You have to filter these things. In addition, I agree with Ghanim, because the courses and the curriculum in the most of the university, what I see, they have to change it, because what I call the system, the course I call it the medieval courses here, most of the university doing. Really, they are teaching you some course is already the same course for 10-15 years. Market is changing. Market is dynamic now. For example, I will tell you from my personal experience. When I was taking drawing in 2005, 2006, I don't. We have, now in the market, people are using AutoCAD. They used to teach us drawing manually.
Really?
Besides AutoCAD, of course, he teaches AutoCAD, but he teaches manually. Who the hell will do the manual now? I never did any manual. There a sketch when I graduate.
I didn't know that was offered. Yeah, I've never seen that one offered.
Yeah. In addition, for example, communication skill, soft skill. They never taught that in university. Presentation, public speaking, talking. This is an important skill. You're gonna go. You need to grow up, especially if you grow up as a civil engineering, going from technical to the management side. No one taught us that. And for example, we didn't. And in addition, we didn't have personal experience. We didn't have experience. When I graduated, markets was different. We didn't talk 10%. This is what I believe from what we study.
No, I think you're right on. A lot of people come out of school, they'll have a very technical background. And sometimes you might think that that's going to be your whole career. And it might be, if that's the route maybe you want to go. But most people want to move into maybe a management role. Usually that's kind of where the dollars go. You can find more money in the management side. And there are challenges there because you're learning more people skills. And like you said, learning how to speak and talk to other and deal with confrontation. being able to solve problems. I agree with you. If universities could have some of those things added to them, I think they're learning. It takes time though to implement all that stuff. But yeah, you're right. I haven't heard of a university still teaching old school drawing though. That's pretty interesting.
I'm ready to show you the curriculum. I have it now, the courses. I can show it to you if you want.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this. What's a project that you've had that you've been really happy to be a part of, or even something in the future that you're excited to be a part of? Ghanim, do you want to talk about that? Is there a project you've been excited about that you've been a part of?
So mainly what I'm doing right now, because I am an academic, I haven't really been in the site too much except in collecting data for my graduate studies. Mm-hmm. So the current project that we are doing here in UAE, we have the first digital engineering chapter and the first professional engineering. So having our first professional engineering certificate and be to contribute in that, I think it is very interesting because we are leaving a true legacy. I think, as I said in the beginning of the talk, the true mission of civil engineering is to serve humanity, and it is an ongoing mission. And once you make the world a better place and more resilient than you found it, then this is the true meaning of civil engineering. So this is what I'm trying to do for my kids. And when they will grow up, they see that they have more platform, more options. I think this is all about the human development. They have more options to flourish in engineering. So having professional engineering, the professional mentality, the experience, then I think I'm participating in something big. And as there is a famous documentary called Dream Big. I think all civil engineers should be dreamers in the first place.
That's very good. Thank you for sharing that. Abdulrahman, how about you? Is there something you've been a part of that's been exciting, or even something in the future you want to be a part of that is exciting to you?
Well, there are a couple of projects when I start working. Of course, I work in different projects like infrastructure, oil and gas, and construction. There are a couple projects it wasn't enticing me during my career and my education. But because from each project you take something, you can benefit from it. You cannot take full, there are some repetitive, but some of them, they are really excited you. However, the personal thing, what is the project, what I love, me and Ghanim were doing this podcast, the Civil Engineering 5 podcast. It's really I like it. I don't know, but it's exciting me. First of all, me and Ghanim, we talk what we want, topic it's common. We talk about it, for example, mental health, dark side of civil engineer, what is we talk about that, how the site engineering challenges, because we don't want to also do the best in civil engineering. We have to do an entrepreneurship and these things, and AI and smart city, because no one taught us this in university. And in addition, this is something new field, in the media and civil engineering, this is something new field and something exciting. You can spread your message to hundreds of people globally. But this is globally, instead of doing whatever you can multiply, you can globally. And by the way, and this is all us opinion. Maybe we are right, maybe we are correct. We don't know it. Maybe we are what saying is right is correct. So that's what excites me now.
Yeah, the whole beauty of a podcast is you have a voice and you can talk about anything that's on your mind. So that's awesome. I'm glad you guys are doing that. Just as we wrap up here, is there any resources that maybe you guys would recommend, a book or anything that would help anybody coming into this field, or even that's in this field, that could help them grow? Ghanim, do you have anything on top of your mind?
Yeah, so I highly recommend that there is a book called The Iron Man from Thomas Telford. So Thomas Telford is the first president of ICE, Institute of Civil Engineers in UK. So Thomas Telford, he will tell his story. He all the way came from Scotland to become the first president in London in ICE and the first industrial revolution, and how he was discovered the iron, and he started designing the bridge from iron. The whole saga, of him is inspiring for how to be a civil engineer. And as Abdulrahman said, definitely there will be challenge, But it's this great bio for great civil engineers. In my opinion, maybe him and Bornell, they are one of the most influential civil engineers in the history.
Okay, great. We'll link that book. That's awesome. Abdulrahman, what about you? Is there any resource out there that you think would be helpful to the Civil Engineering Academy audience?
There are many couple of book or resource. For example, me, I'm a guy more audio than books, because I hate reading book because, I like audio book better than hard book. For me, if you want The School of Greatness by Lewis Howes, it's a great book. You read about it. And for example, if you want to even go listen to podcasts like Civil Engineering Academy, you can go listen to them, And also there is by Anthony Fasano's Civil Engineering Management Institute. They have great podcasts there and great resources there. They have really like the Civil Engineering podcast, the Engineering Career podcast. They are fascinating. And if you want to go to YouTube, that's called the B1M Construction. They are doing fascinating videos about construction and how the construction, globally, not only in UK, globally. And also there are Practical Engineer, if you want to, a YouTube channel called Practical Engineer, if you want to know more about, civil engineer. They are doing a lot of things there. And
That's
also
great.
and therefore if you want, and also my advice to civil engineer, connect with them, connect with mentor, connect with them. It's okay. Many people are helping, trust me. Just go to LinkedIn, go to LinkedIn, add someone, talk with them. Hi, how are you? I just want to connect with you. Fine, people will help. And people will give you tips and advice.
That's awesome.
And this will start building you a network with civil engineer by professionals. So at least you have some experience.
That's fantastic. Good resources. We'll try to link all those in our show notes as well for people.
Yeah.
But I think everything you rattled off there are excellent resources. So, well, as we close up, I just want to thank you guys for joining, our podcast. You guys have shared a lot of cool tips and tools and resources, and I think it's been fun to have you on here. What's the best way to reach out to you guys if someone wants to connect with you?
For me, like if you want go civil engineer vibes, go there. You can go our website. You can see we can see all our contact there. Me and Ghanim, you can see it there. Like me and Ghanim contact there. And personally, if you want to contact me, I'm available on social media on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even TikTok if you want to do TikTok and LinkedIn. So even Clubhouse, you can go there and contact with the Clubhouse.
Awesome.
It's okay.
So we'll just head to your website and we will find everything there to connect with you, which is great.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys jumping on the show. I know I want to value your time, and thanks for being here. See you guys.
Thank you.